but obviously we're gonna have to wait until whenever we get into 2022, specifically next year. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the next thing we'd like to discuss upon, and that's the forms of, according to the Japanese website for the likes of Mario Party Superstars, they've managed to able to reveal all 100 minigames. So yeah, some of these minigames are from the likes of the forms of Mario Party 1. I think they'll have like 12 minigames returning, which is a double the amount than the forms of how it does it on the top 100 version, because in the top 100, for some reason, only has 6 of them. And yeah, that seems a kind of improvement over the likes of the top 100. And as for Mario Party 2, they've got about 19 minigames total if you want to obviously also count the item minigame as well, making it a grand total of the forms of 20 minigames, but technically the item minigames doesn't count because it only lasts for about 5 seconds, so ultimately speaking, we'll stick with 19 as it is, so, because it makes sense. So, again, with Mario Party 2, that it does seems have a large amount of minigames there, so yeah, that might be the second highest minigame selections they go for. But the biggest one out of them all, though, it is still definitely Mario Party 3, just because it's pretty obvious, because that game is now a decade old in, well, let's just say a decade old recently in North America, but not so much in Europe yet. But as far as I'm aware, the Japanese release is almost like 21 years old. So I guess that makes it obvious that why Mario Party 3 gets a lot of reputation. Well, not so much a repetition, but more accurately like a well-received selections of minigames they'll bring back. And even then though, they managed able to ramp it up into 24, which is quite a lot. In addition to the forms of one item game, which appears to be by the forms of popping balloons, that technically I don't feel like counting that unless if you decide to count it. So that'll make a grand total of 25. So as far as Mario Party 4 is concerned, they somehow managed to get the result as in 8 minigames. So it's a bit lesser than the forms of the top 100, but that's okay, because some of these minigames in Mario Party 4 has been selected is really solid. And as far as Mario Party 5 is concerned, they dipped down, thankfully, into 10 minigames. So at least that's an improvement over the likes of the top 100 version, because obviously the top 100 is the fact that Mario Party 5 selections of minigames returning in the top 100 has the largest amount of minigames they've got. And for Mario Party 6, they've got about 12 minigames in Mario Party Superstars, same amount as the forms of the original Mario Party 1, so I guess that's a good thing. And unfortunately though, for Mario Party 7 all the way up to 10, they don't have that many minigames though returning, but as far as I'm aware, 7 has 6 minigames to return, and also 8 for some reason only has 2, just because some of these minigames of Mario Party 8, there's a lot of emphasis on motion controls. And so applies to Mario Party 9, which Mario Party 9 sadly only has like 4 minigames, and as far as Mario Party 10 is concerned, only has 3. So yeah, that does seem like a downsized selections of minigames they have from the likes of the Wii and the Wii U eras of the Mario Party games somehow. But at the very least, with Mario Party 7 does have a pretty good selection, which I'll get into the list right about now. So let's get started with Mario Party 1. Selections of minigames will make a comeback in Mario Party Superstars. So those are obviously Mushroom Mix-Up, Hammer Drop, Facelift, and Shy Guy Says, and especially noticeable with Tipsy Turny, and especially noticeable with Crazy Cutters. And as far as the new ones they added in, which there are, oh, and also from the likes of Targa War, Bobsled Run, and Handcar Havoc. Now, as far as the new ones they're able to include, they include, oh god, they bring back Castaways from the likes of the forms of the original Mario Party game. Not too surprised about that selection, but I think I might be okay with that choice, so. And as far as the others though, they also bring back Bombs Away from the original Mario Party 1 game, and also Piranha's Pursuit, which it functions kind of the same way as the forms of how it does it on, well, from the likes of the top 100 version, because once again I believe you're getting chased by the PD Piranha again, so. Yeah, because it has been a long while since we actually haven't come across into PT Piranha ever since in the top 100 in a Mario Party game. Because I'm pretty sure that was his 4th time appearance from the Mario Party games, basically. Because he first appeared in, in Mario Party 10 and Star Rush later on, and of course the top 100 on the Piranha's Pursuit. But here he is again, but this time in HD. So yeah, I'll read those minigames again. Mushroom Mix-Up, Castaways, Hammer Drop, Facelift, Tipsy Tony, Shy Guy Says, Crazy Cutters, Bombs Away, Bobsled Run, Hand Car Havoc, Piranha's Pursuit, and lastly Tug of War. I think it's actually a good choice of selections of these Mario Party 1 minigames. The biggest highlight for me, though, it will still have to be Facelift, along with the forms of Tipsy Tony, along with the forms of, let's just say Bobsled Run, because those minigames are pretty top-notch selection. So, either way, though, as far as the rest of it is concerned, I'm fine with that selection. So, anyway, oh, and by the way, that's what happens if you manage to get into the actual training area, where basically you can able to get a lot of practice of how, with the actual football kind of tournament thing, or kickball tournament, they're about to be able to get started with. And by the way, before we get into more minigame discussions I want to discuss, it looks like we're going back onto the forms of the kickball matches again. So basically, remember the forms of in the first world, Mayhem Temple, that basically we need to able to get the most points until you reach the next round. Whilst in here, this time around though, it's all in reverse this time around. So in this case, in order to able to win certain matches, it's the fact that you have to get a low amount of points to able to actually advance to the next round. So this makes it a little bit interesting, but also kind of difficult at the same time, because these computer players, or the actual AI with those specific stony faces, are obviously trying to gun for you. So as a result, though, you have to be more specifically trying to able to, get lesser amount of points than everyone else, because if you somehow get more points, then you're gonna have to try again. So that might be something worth noting for, and it's also, very difficult if you keep on getting distracted by the forms of other players, as you can see, but, anyway. So, now let's move on to Mario Party 2, where it comes to certain minigames they obviously bring back. Obviously, we've already know about the fact that with some minigames will return, such as, of course, Sneak and Snore, which I wasn't too pleased about, but at least I'm hoping they'll fix any other problems I had with the original game. So, yeah, that might be something worth noting for. And also, they bring back Roll Call, and also Bowser's Big Blast, Slosh Car Derby, Mecha Marathon. And I'm happy to say is that Shell Shocked is going to make a comeback for the second time. So because of that, though, I'm very happy with Shell Shocked is now going to come back, but this time in gorgeous HD. So yeah, that seems very awesome. And of course, we got Bumper Balls, Bumper Balloon Cars, Honeycomb Havoc, alongside with the forms of Balloon Burst, Dungeon Dash, and especially noticeable with Look Away, Archery Rifle, and especially noticeable with the forms of Sky Pilots, as far as I'm concerned. Now, as far as the other mini-games that are able to make a comeback, which is Hot Rope Jump, which is pretty awesome actually, which I couldn't imagine about the fact that if there was a single-player campaign here and there with the minigame challenges or something, then we're gonna have to make your way to 50 jumps again, so I couldn't imagine if that would be the case. So, and of course we got ourselves the Dizzy Dancing of all things, which is interesting because technically we've already got that minigame in the top 100, but here it is again, but this time in, of course, HD, so it makes everything else about that particular certain minigames a lot gorgeous. So, and also they bring back Cake Factory, and of course they bring back Speed Hockey. Okay, that seems kind of interesting. And of course we got a new minigame that's going to come back, and that is Quicksand Cashy. So yeah, apparently we don't seem to able to see, let's just say we didn't get a chance to see Shock, Drop, or Roll, or especially noticeable with Torpedo Targets. The only disappointing thing for me, though, is the fact that they do not include Platform Perils, which I might be fine without it, so it's just a bit of a nitpicking right there. And of course, the item minigame of Mario Party 2 they'll bring it back is of course Hammer Slammer, based off from the item minigame from Spaceland. So, makes obvious sense, because obviously, I somehow lost again. But thankfully I can able to try again multiple times if I keep on failing on this, so... I think it's probably best for me to able to keep an eye on my goalie right there. Because obviously, if I somehow manage to get distracted by any other players, then basically I would able to, although in this particular semi-finals right there, I have to simply get out able to take away points by keep on obtaining the red balls into my goal. But for whatever reason, the crowds keep on booing at me if I keep on doing that. But of course I have to do the reverse rules by simply able to get a low amount of points rather than more, so... Anyway, and yeah, as far as the selection of Mario Party 2 selections of minigames make a comeback, I'm very happy with Shell Sharks being the now on the HD, which I'm very pleased about. And yeah, that this seems quite a lot. And I'll get to more of the forms of the... Oh my god, I keep on getting wrecked. Although I'm pretty sure that most of these AI stoneheads are just basically just kicking my butt. So, we'll just keep on trying. We'll keep on trying until whenever we succeed. So, anyway, so now let's move on to Mario Party 3. And basically, we already know that Storm Chasers is going to be making a comeback again. And of course, we got ourselves Carousel Plummet and also Rocking Raceway. And of course, Messy Memory, Mario's Puzzle Party, Cheap Cheap Chase, and as well as Mosh Pit, and even the forms of Snowball Summit, and especially noticeable with Eats a Pizza, Puddle Paddle, and of course Engine Catch, Picking Panic, as well as the forms of River Raiders, Boulder Ball, Spotlight Swim, Coconut Conk, and especially oh wait, Spotlight Swim? Oh yeah, it's another one of those new minigames they'll bring it back, but in the HD console. So yeah, that seems pretty cool. And of course, we already know about the fact that Fine With Me is included, along with TikTok Hop, and of course Popping Balloons. So, and the newest minigames they'll bring back is the forms of Ice Rink Risk, and there's also Chip Shot Challenge. Man, I'm very glad that minigame makes a comeback, but now in HD, which I'm very pleased about. And of course, we got ourselves to returning Bounce and Trounce, so yeah, I'm guessing that might be self-explanatory. But I think the controls might actually look a lot easier than the original, though, that's for sure. And of course, then we got ourselves the Title Toss, and I've already mentioned this earlier, Spotlight Swim, and Hide and Sneak, of all things. Okay, that's interesting. And of course, Moto Router. I'm hoping that the controls in Moto Router will be a lot better than the original counterparts, maybe because of how the fact that you have no full control of your character last time. So I'm hoping that when that game comes out, then expecting if the controls will be a lot more improvement over the likes of the original. So, at least I'm hoping so anyway, so... Yeah, as far as the actual Mario Party 3 selections of minigames they'll bring a comeback, I'm quite pleased about the selection. At least I'm hoping they'll fix some issues, like, for instance, Cheap Cheap Chase, that hopefully it'll be a lot more fluid minigame than in forms of how it does in the original. And as far as everything else, like I said this before, Moto Router minigame, I kinda wish if that minigame will definitely fix a lot of problems with controls and stuff, but then again, we'll see what happens there. And as far as Mario Party 4 is concerned, we obviously already know that Trace Race is going to be in it, along with Book Squirm, and especially noticeable with the forms of Beach Frolly Frolly, Reverse Bomb, and especially noticeable with Money Belts. However, a few new minigames they'll bring back, which there are Paths of Peril for the second time, so at least that's that. And of course, everyone's fan-favorite minigame of all time from Mario Party 4, that I'm happy to say is that Dungeon Duos is finally back, and this time in gorgeous HD, which I will say, I'm very happy with that minigame makes a comeback. And in fact, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day, although I will get to more details about that once we run down with the minigames though, so... And of course I've got my achievement, because after all I certainly managed to win the final kickball tournament thing. So yeah, that seems pretty top notch. So anyway, and of course they were able to add it in goal minigame again. So yeah, for that selection, it's pretty solid. So, I kinda wish they were able to have Paratrooper Plunge or anything else to be more specific, but that's perfectly fine by me, because obviously that, well, certain minigames in Mario Party 4 is pretty solid. And thank God, no hide-and-go boom, and especially noticeable with no candlelight flights, because those minigames are dumb, and especially noticeable they are pretty broken, even for candlelight flight's case. But anyway, for Mario Party 5, they obviously bring back Coney Island, as well as the forms of Pushy Penguins, along with Leaf Leap, and even Ice Hockey, and even Squared Away. But in addition to those minigames, we also have Nightlight Fright for the second time, and as well as Bill Blasters, which I was very excited to see that make a return, and I did not see that coming. And of course, we still have Later Skater and Dinger Derby, as well as from those, we also have 2-Bit or Lose It, and that's it. And that's literally how the selections of the Mario Party 5 minigames will make a return here, so yeah, I'm very happy with that selection. At least, thankfully, no button mashers or anything else with that bullcrap get a rope kind of scenario. So, at least that's something. Now, for Mario Party 6, we obviously have ourselves Catch You Later, What Goes Up, as well as the forms of Rocky Road and Massive Media. And in addition to those minigames, we also have Dark and Crispy, so I'm very glad that minigame exists. And also we have, Trapeze Artist is back. I'm not too happy with that. And also we have Money Belt from the likes of Mario Party 6. And also we have Pit Boss, the most difficult minigame, but intense at the same time. And also we've got Snow World, and also we have Burn Style, which is interesting because obviously that minigame was actually quite of a challenge. And also we've got Catapult or Cashapult, and finally Block Stars. So I'm guessing certain puzzle minigames from the likes of the past Mario Party games. Well, to be more specifically, technically it already exists from the likes of the forms of both Mario Party DS and the Top 100. So in this case, I think this might actually be the 4th time of the Block Stars appearance. So yeah, that seems interesting. Now, as far as Mario Party 7 is concerned, well, obviously we still have Pokepamel, Pogo, A Go-Go, as well as the Final Countdown, and even Monty's Revenge. However, though, there are some 2 new minigames they're able to include, such as Stick and Spin, the 4th time that has been appeared in a Mario Party game, and we have Spin Doctor. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much about it. I kinda wish there's actually more Mario Party 7 minigames there. Like, can they add it in, like, the forms of Cap Yukiki or something? I mean, that would be cool. And, as far as Mario Party 8 is concerned, sadly there's only 2 of them, like I said earlier, and those are entirely in a different games, which there are, all based off from 2 vs 2 games, which there are Winner or Dinner and Paint Misbehaving, so that seems an okay choice. Well, at least it's kind of okay to bring back Winner or Dinner, but sometimes it can be pretty difficult at times due to the piranha plants and stuff like that, and the arena itself wasn't exactly big, mind you, but I don't know, you get the idea of how I feel about it. At least in ever since, well, we'll get some more details about that whenever we get into Mario Party 8 Let's Play at some point next year, so anyway, before we get into more details about this though, let's go ahead and just try to toss the Globo at the actual pool again. And we might actually discover another new transformation. Although this will be the last new transformation throughout the whole game, because until whenever we get into the final world, well, for Collectathons anyway, and as you can see, we transform into ourselves into the snowball. And basically what you can do with it is the fact that, well, if we leave the tent, basically if you hold down the X button, I believe also the B button on the N64 version, basically, if you roll into a snow, or in some cases, if you manage to roll into a snow, basically your health will be increased, and then also in addition to able to get your health increased, that as you can tell, that you grow into size, as in a giant snowball. But if you keep on getting hit, or in some cases, that if you try to hold down the X button, then you won't able to actually get yourselves a bit of a speed up going. oh, this is going to be one of the most annoying Jinjos to get. Especially noticeable, as you can tell, that we have to deal with the forms of the gust of wind, as you can see. So, we're gonna have to able to figure this out, and yeah, every time you get hit by any enemies, or any other flames for that matter, you lose a bit of health, and also you're pretty much almost gonna be small for the actual snowball itself. So, yeah, that's something worth classifying for mentioning this for the sake of time. So, anyway. But there we go. At the very least, we got ourselves the Black Jinjo at least. So, there goes that. So, yeah, a few things I want to explain, and that is the fact that I believe today it is the forms of the 4th of October today, in this case in 2021. And I must admit though, I do apologize with the lack of uploading schedules on this game, clearly because of the fact that we've now finally got ourselves the physical versions of, well, Sonic Colors Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One at long last. After all, I can now finally play the game for reals, rather than just getting ourselves a little bit of a fake out here and there, which I must admit though, we've kind of lied about the forms of back in September, just because of the stupid EMEA delivery limitations and stuff like that. But at the same time though, oh, don't you, screw off, you stupid little magma hand. Just come out of nowhere as soon as I'm able to grow in size. Although what's kind of devastating, especially noticeable if you get into the lava world, as you can see with the snowball transformation, it explodes and you die. So yeah, that's overly dramatic. Especially noticeable, it just kind of feels a bit similar to the dynamite or the detonator transformation from the likes of the second world, except the fact that you don't lose health if you manage to like self-destruct and all that stuff, so at least that's something. So anyways, let's get to the forms of the Mario Party 9 selections of minigames, even though sadly there's only 4 of them, and those they obviously include Return, which is pretty obvious, is Shell Soccer, and Goomba Spotting. And there are some 2 other minigames they'll include, like Manner of Escape, as well as the forms of Tackle Takedown. So that was the, I would say the 3rd time that it's actually introduced in a Mario Party game, the Tackle Takedown minigame. So, at least on the upside is the fact that obviously Donkey Kong were able to finally experience most of these minigames from Mario Party 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So, although Donkey Kong has already experienced so many minigames in 10 already, so... And lastly, speaking of Mario Party 10, there's only 3 minigames sadly, but the upside is though is that these minigames are not too bad selections, which we still have the forms of Scurry, as well as Rapid River Race, which I'm very glad there was actually a new record type of minigame at the very least. But they're able to include another one of those minigames they'll include is Flash Forward. So yeah, very similar to the top 100, isn't it? So, and yeah, that's pretty much as far as I can say about the selections of the Mario Party Superstars minigames they're able to bring. And I'm gonna say, this is a much appreciated, especially noticeable about the fact that unlike the top 100, where it does manage to have some controversial ones, but at the same time, I think the Superstars lineup is actually a lot better than the top 100 selections was, at least to me. So, that's purely just me anyway, so... And as you can see, we somehow activate something, which, if I recall correctly, that pretty much gonna lead me to, let's just say somewhere in the, Grotty Industries, if I'm assuming that correctly. So, yeah, because it'll just pretty much gonna show the Jiggy just managed to bounce into the actual sewer pipe, and then basically, it just instantly goes into that familiar location based off from Grotty Industries. So... yeah, that's something worth noting for, but of course we do need to transform back into our normal transformation first before we get that particular Jiggy itself. So anyway, and because, yeah, that's as far as I can say about most of these minigames we'll bring back in Mario Party Superstars. I should probably point things out is the fact that some of these minigames do not make a return on the other hand, such as for instance, in the top 100, they obviously bring back Desert Dash from Mario Party 1, whilst in the Superstars, they replace that as in Dungeon Dash, because, well, we've already got Desert Dash in the top 100, but now in Superstars we've got Dungeon Dash, so I'm perfectly fine with that. And another minigame that will do not make a return, on the other hand, is Hexagon Heat, because due to the fact that in Superstars we've already got Mushroom Mix-Up, so again, I'm perfectly fine with that. And also same applies to Handcar Havoc, because we've already got the Mario Party 1 counterpart on Superstars, because in the top 100 they obviously got the second variation of that minigame, so... And of course that Looney Lumberjacks will sadly no longer return there, so yeah, that seems a kind of a shame, honestly. And as far as the Mario Party 3 selections of minigames does not make a return here, which there are, I would say 2 of those minigames, I think, which there are The Beat Goes On, because thank God that minigame will not make a return in HD, and plus that minigame attempts to drag on a bit, so yeah, it seems totally obvious right there. And the 3-Door Monty, that minigame does not make a return at all, so yeah, that's that. And as far as Mario Party 4 minigames that does not make a return in Superstars, which there are Free Throw, Mario Speedwagons, as well as Blame It on a Crane, Hide and Go Boom, because, well, that minigame is luck-based, so at least I'm glad that minigame does not come back at all. The Great Defleet, along with Order Up, along with Korean Koopas, and the Final Battle from the likes of Mario Party 4. So, yeah, I can totally see why those minigames does not bring back at all, so... And as far as Mario Party 5, they didn't bring back Triple Jump, and sadly, no Hotel Goomba, man, I missed that. As well as Cajun Cooking, Heat Stroke, along with Diffuse or Lose, Manic Mellets, Shy Guy Showdown, and Button Mashers. So, yeah, that's pretty much about it. And as far as Mario Party 6 selections of minigames does not bring it back at all, which is Strawberry Short Fuse, because that minigame is pretty luck-based, and also it reminds me of so much of that dreaded stacked deck from the likes of Mario Party 3. And also they did bring back Dizzy Rotisserie, and also they did bring back Crate in Peril, and Slot Trot, so, and that's about it. And as far as Mario Party 7 minigames that do not make a return compared to the top 100, which there are Track and Field, or Track and Yard, if you want to specifically try to call that, from the likes of in Mario Party 7, and of course, Deck Hands, Balloon Busters, and Dodge Attack, because those 2 minigames are utilizing the microphone, so, because obviously the Nintendo Switch is far lacking with microphone functions, which, I'm fine with that, especially noticeable for Balloon Busters, because holy macaroni, that minigame sucks, in both the top 100 and 7, so, but that's just me. And of course they don't bring back Sphere Factor, which I'm pleased about, because that minigame might be the worst team-up minigames in my opinion, but that's how it is for me. And of course they don't bring back Jumpman and Vine Country based off of the Donkey Kong minigames from Mario Party 7, because it's due to the fact that Donkey Kong is fully playable in Superstars, which I'm honestly very happy with that, especially noticeable that, come on, everyone loves Donkey Kong to be able to become playable in most of any other Mario Party games, you know? Especially noticeable after his revival from the likes of bringing back his playable debut in Mario Party 10, Star Rush, Super, and recently Superstars, but not so much the top 100, so... And as far as Mario Party 8 is concerned, somehow they never seemed able to bring Crank to Rank at the Jump Wash and Aim of the Game back on Superstars, because again, Mario Party 8 has a lot of emphasis on motion controls back in 2007, which, I get it, I totally get that, so... And as far as Mario Party 9 is concerned, they don't bring back Locker Heads, along with Bumper Bubbles, Don't Look, Peak Precision, oh man, I really do miss that, honestly, Magma Mayhem, and Speeding Bullets, Jigsaw Jumble, Pure Pressure, and sadly no Goomba Bowling, which, I must admit though, I kinda prefer Goomba Bowling over the likes of Goomba Spotting, but that's just me. And finally for Mario Party 10, they don't bring back Sword to Score, Badminton Bash, and Jewel Drop, because Jewel Drop does have a motion control function if only if the star is actually glowing, and that way you can able to activate like frenzy mode or something. So at least as far as I can usually try to mention about that. So. And yeah, that's pretty much as far as I can say about the actual comparisons with certain minigames from the likes of like some returning minigames from the likes of the Top 100 and Superstars. And I will still say the Superstars lineup is actually really good. Although in the Top 100 though, it's alright, but usually I get the feeling from that. So anyway, the next thing I want to discuss upon, and that's the forms of the fact that recently the reviews from the likes of My Little Pony and New Generation's been up, and it looks like so far, and shockingly enough, Rotten Tomatoes website actually receives the film 100% based off from 7 reviews, which I will say, it is very impressive actually. Although, that unlike the 2017 film, that it does have a lot of mixed reactions to it, or mixed reception. Although, to me, I found that film still pretty good, at least to me anyway. Although, for some reason, in A New Generation film that's been on Netflix, that somehow it receives 100%, which I'm guessing is because in the My Little Pony universe, managed to now finally jump to 3D animation, so which is pretty impressive, all things considered, after dealing with a lot of emphasis on 2D animation throughout the years, at least ever since in 1983, or something like that, or something like 1986, or something like that, despite the previous generations are pretty bad. Well, except Generation 4, because Generation 4 is still the best. And as far as I'm concerned, that Generation 5 could probably go even much better too. Although, I still really miss the forms of Generation 4 ponies. Although, I've seen the film already, but I'm not gonna able to spoil a lot of stuff for those who have not seen it yet. So, well, for some bronies alike. So, yeah, it was quite intriguing about the fact that that particular film has been received 100% from Rotten Tomato website. So, yeah, that seems quite intriguing. So, anyway. And another thing we want to talk about, and that's the forms of how the fact that somehow, along the same day as when My Little Pony, A New Generation film came out on the likes of Netflix, somehow, out of nowhere, that Apple just managed to announce there's another iPhone model, which this time around, we're now on to iPhone 13. And that is the most recent release. And as a result, before I've seen the actual details about the forms of iPhone 13, it feels pretty much identical to iPhone 12, with a noticeable difference. Like, for instance, I think the only thing it does improve is with the, of course, battery life, as well as the forms of some more chips they're able to actually add it in. Along with that, I believe some more camera improvements, if I'm assuming correctly. Ah, dang it! Ah, that was a really bad jump right there. Wait a second, does it take me... Oh, it takes me back there. Oh, that's so dumb. Especially noticeable that I was expecting if I was able to try to, you know, split up and everything to make the actual checkpoint system a little bit more frequent. But it turns out I somehow did not able to actually do all that. But at the very least, we've already activated the actual walk pad, so that way we can able to travel a bit faster while going there. So at least that's something we can able to give this a bit of a doubt. Anyway, so anyway, and as far as the other discussions I would like to mention. I think that's as far as I can say in terms of the forms of the specific discussion at this point. Although, mind you, is the fact that until specifically in this Wednesday, we're probably not going to upload anything for Banjo-Tooie until specifically on this Friday, the same day as when Metroid Dread, along with the forms of the Nintendo Switch OLED model, is about to come out. So as a result, though, I think I should probably save the next part until on Friday, because tomorrow, because obviously we are still on the 4th of October at this point, and this means that tomorrow, that the Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania for multiple platforms is... Ah, darn it. God damn it, why do I always overshoot that jump? And especially noticeable, it doesn't help about the fact that, well, obviously we're going to have to able to keep on smashing that ice cube again, so... oh well, we'll keep trying, but maybe it's because of how the fact that sometimes that with Kazooie alone controls, that sometimes I find myself easy to lose control of myself sometimes. But either way though, it knows what it is, so... But at least, thankfully, we've managed able to gather every single music note, thankfully, so, yeah, I don't know if you noticed about the fact that my voice is actually almost feels a bit awkward today. Well, mainly because of how the fact that I've almost got myself my foot cramp if I somehow managed able to cross my, legs a bit, so... Yeah, that's something worth knowing for. I'm gonna have to sort that out after I finish recording this, so... But anyway, unfortunately I somehow died again due to the forms of a very bad timing jumps right there, but that's okay because we made it this time, so... Anyway, that tomorrow, that the Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania for multiple platforms is definitely coming tomorrow. So even then though, I'm still very excited to be able to actually finally going to be playing a remake of the game. Well, to be more specifically, a remake of 1, 2, and Deluxe, all in one particular package. Or to be more specifically, it's based off Monkey Ball Deluxe, but in a nice little, you know, remake of any sorts, so... In fact, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. Are you guys all looking forward to able to finally get a chance to play Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania? And on top of that, what do you think about the full list of minigames you've ever seen from the likes of the forms of Mario Party Superstars full list of minigames in terms of based off from the Japanese website? So, because I'd like to hear your thoughts, because some of these minigames I'm very glad are returning and make a comeback, most notably Dungeon Duos from Mario Party 4, along with Shell Shock, and of course Facelift, and Chip Shot Challenge, along with the forms of other cool minigames as well. But there might be some bummers here and there, such as for instance, I feel like Goomba spotting can be kind of dull at points, but maybe it's just me. But, yeah, that's as far as I could say about the forms of today's discussion, because obviously that, well, October is going to be a big year still for me, or October is still going to be the biggest month for me anyway. I did not meant to say year, just because obviously that we're still in 2021, of course, but, I can't even believe we're almost nearly at the end in terms of 2021 already, which I was quite shocked and surprised at the same time, so... Anyway, so now we ended up in the Mumble Skull, and of course, much like in Jolly Roger's Lagoon, we need to able to use the grenade eggs to able to actually just to open up the cracked wall, and basically that actually reveals the entrance to, well, let's just say an alternative path to able to actually get to the ice side. So, and once again, we still need to deliver that glow bow to Mumbo Wumbo, or in this case, Mumble Jumbo, as far as I like to say for this point. I do apologize if my commentary is a little bit iffy, because it has been about, I would say, 5 days since I actually last touched this game, because after all, that we've already done the unboxing video for Sonic Colors Ultimate in multiple platforms now, so, oh, and by the way, if you manage to enter in the forms of, Wumba's tent as, Mumbo Jumbo, she actually decides able to say like, oh, you ugly, get out of there. So, yeah, that might be something worth knowing for the sake of time, so... Anyway, so now we ended up in the icy side with Mumbo Jumbo, and I somehow accidentally slipped and fell at the same time. And the reason being for this is because we need to able to, well, get these aliens come back to life. Or to be more specifically, we need to resurrect them, so, well... I don't know what do I usually say for this point right now, because I know it has been, well, you know what I'm saying, 5 days ago since I actually last did one of those recording sessions on this, so in this case, let's activate the life force to that poor alien right there, which I think that usually happens if you manage to get crash landed after jumping off of that particular UFO, so overall, not bad for able to actually just trying to able to bring him back to life and all that stuff, but there might be still some more aliens to able to actually just to, you know, bring it back to life and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's totally obvious. And also, let me know in the comments below as well, what do you think about the forms of iPhone 13? Although, excuse me, Although it is very similar to iPhone 12, except with improvement camera and stuff like that, which I might not gonna get it, just because, well, it might be pretty pricey at this point. Now, I'm pretty sure they revealed the Pro version of iPhone 13 as well, although what's next? Until in 2022, it could possibly bring iPhone 14 or something like that. Well, mind you, because I'm pretty darn certain that certain iPhones, well, they still skipped 9 somehow, and they just somehow managed to able to, well, leave 9 out of the room, and then just go straight into the phones of the next few models later or something. I have no words to say about this, because I know it has been quite a few days since I actually last played this, so... So anyways, now we've, you know, done with that, and I think there was actually that particular area I could probably check out or something. Well, usually relatively speaking about the fact that I get the feeling that we've pretty much almost done with this world, although I highly doubt that we would possibly able to actually 100% through everything in terms of Hailfire Peaks, despite the fact that it might tend to able to make the worlds themselves a bit longer every now and then. But anyways, let's go and use the life force by this particular fella that has been, like, I would say crash landing into the actual snow itself, or in some cases he got frozen, so... And sure enough, we're able to melt the ice, and I got another achievement too. So, 2 achievements all in 1. So, and if you're probably wondering what's over there in the distance with that particular key shape in the background, well, that appears to be something well hidden if you manage to able to, well, let's just say that you remember the forms of my Let's Play of Banjo-Tooie, that you do realize is the fact that I've already obtained the ice key on the forms of Freeze's Peak from the original game, which I'll talk more about it until whenever we get into the extra video of this game, until specifically, let's just say, almost nearly at the end of October or something. Well, mind you, it's a bit too early to speak up for this, at this point so far, so we'll should probably save that discussion until for later, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and use the, let's not use the actual, warp pad yet, because, well, now we've actually, done with that part. And I believe we need to return back to Banjo and Kazooie at this point. Although, I'm not exactly sure if we, I think we actually pretty much done with everything for, the fire side of things from the likes of Hailfire Peaks, because, obviously there are some few objectives left for the likes of the ice side, so hopefully we'll take care of from that, and, well, thankfully if we manage to use the talent trust the whole way through, then it'll make everything else a bit faster for, you know what I mean, just try to go through one place to the other, so we can probably do that, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and, continue things on here. I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well, that, recently, Slim Kirby, he's pretty much doing another Mario Party Let's Play, and this time around he's now finally playing Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. And, because the reason why he's doing that Let's Play, because obviously Mario Party Superstars is getting close to release, so it might be a perfect opportunity if you're able to do that Let's Play, so, yeah, that seems very awesome. So, anywho, so, yeah, this guy right here almost kind of reminds me, although first of all, we need to, like, use fire eggs at him, so that way he'll get himself a bit warmer and stuff like that. Is it just me, or does he look very similar to one of those characters in Tarzan, you know, with, Jane's, father, called, I would say Professor Porter or something? Yeah, it does remind me of that character from Tarzan, except, well, obviously it doesn't have the bow tie or anything, but I don't know, it's just me with my imagination, so I don't know about you guys, but it's just a bit of a weird thing to say things like that, but anywho. So anyways, let's go ahead and, split up, and, the next thing we need to do is the fact that we need to take control of Banjo all by himself, and now we need to able to, oh, darn it, that stupid enemy hitbox right there. But anyway, we need to able to use the, taxi pack move again, ever since in World 5, and basically we do need to able to take him back into the forms of his, camping site. And that's what appears to be located somewhere in the fire side. So, but thankfully, we've still managed able to activate the forms of that particular warp pad, so that way we can able to travel things a bit quicker. So, at least in some cases, if we go in here, then hit on to... that kind of annoys me sometimes. I was nowhere near... Well, I was expecting that I was standing on the forms of that particular warp pad thingy right there, but it turns out that he was trying to say you're not exactly at the center of it yet, so that can be kind of a nitpicking right there, but anyway. So now we delivered him back into the forms of the camping site, and, well, sure enough, after dealing with that, he'll give us a gloriously rewarded the Jiggy itself. And I'm pretty sure we've almost nearly at the end in terms of getting every single Jiggies throughout the whole game. Like, I believe we only got about 20 left, so yeah, we are getting there, folks. We are surely, maturely, but getting there, so... Alright, so now we just need to warp back onto... I would say this section? Nah, this is the wrong section. Maybe here? Yeah, there we go. So that way we can able to get Kazooie back onto my backpack, so that way we can able to fly if we don't get ourselves fall damage there. So, that might be sure it's worth noting for, so... Anyways, the next thing we need to do is just crack this particular icicle right there, and there's another one of those aliens just being dead, all in all. So we're gonna have to able to try to break the actual icicle stuff that managed to contains, you know, dead aliens and all that stuff though, but of course we still need Mumbo Jumbo to able to actually bring them back to life with the life force. So... And of course, much like the forms of how it does it in Freezy Peak from the likes of Banjo-Kazooie, along with, I will classify for saying the winter section on the likes of Click Clockwood. If you get into the water, then it'll be freezing cold. So as a result, you're gonna get hit a lot if you trying to step onto the forms of the freezing water. So yeah, that might be something you need to be cautious about. So. And there's another alien just somehow brings back to life somehow. So at least he's still alive at the very least. So yeah, I guess I wasn't paying attention to that at all. So I do apologize for that. But anyway, now let's go ahead and head back. And well, I get the feeling that one of the enemies, somehow respawns. So yeah, that might be something worth classifying from that. So anyway, so we'll just keep on moving and all that stuff. So yeah, I guess that makes it obvious for the sake of time. So actually kind of think about it. Let me double check what's up there first before we're able to actually bring that alien back to life, because I'm pretty darn certain, although that I think we are still practically missing two aliens left. So in this case, we do need to able to find another alien. So in this case, we need to once again split up and switch it over to Kazooie alone. And hopefully, we'll try to find one of the aliens. So, because we've already found two of them already. Like one, the main one, and one of the children from the likes of breaking the icicle and stuff like that. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and keep on doing that. Oh yeah, there's one of those moves that we now finally can able to perform as Kazooie alone. That, if you're trying to able to, well, if I do something like a big, you know, that big jump of his, and basically, if you try to hold down the trigger buttons, you're able to perform a glide, which that'll give you a lot of opportunities that you can able to actually fly on certain distances. So, yeah, that seems a pretty cool move to have. And I believe we've only down to one more move left, and that's what appears to be at the very end of the game. And of course we need to able to do a hatch ability, so hopefully we'll try to able to do that just like that. And sure enough, we're able to actually just to let that alien would able to actually just to teleport back into the rest of the aliens. So, and sure enough, they'll be still waiting once we able to revive the last alien, and that should able to give us the next Jiggy. So hopefully we'll get that down at some point. So yeah, with the forms of the last move we can probably get, it might actually be something related to Banjo alone, which we'll point it out until whenever we get onto on Friday, as I said earlier. So anyways, let's go ahead and use the teleporting pad so that we can able to warp into almost right near to Wombo's tent, and hopefully we would be able to actually just try to able to go back inside this tent. And of course we need to switch over to Mumbo Jumbo now, so just in case we can able to revive the last alien. So hopefully, I think we can probably get this well done in due time, so at least if I was able to assuming that correctly. So but then again, we'll stay until whenever we're able to done that objective. So anyway, so let's go ahead and keep on moving here, and yeah, I guess there's nothing else to say about this, I'm afraid. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and continue forward there, and well, not much else to say. So now we just need to find another one of those. Actually, we could probably still use the actual the life force pad, so that way we can able to actually use that for the last alien revivaling and stuff like that. So we can able to use this right now for an alien child. So, and that should bring her back to life. And once you've able to done all 4 aliens, then sure enough, the mission objective will be completed by that time. So it doesn't really matter what specific aliens you go for, but I've obviously did manage to able to did whatever order I always attempt to choose. So, and all at the same time that the UFO has now appeared, and of course that the aliens will able to go back into the UFO, and they'll able to go back home into outer space. So yay, we've rescued them, so nicely done from there. And it looks like one of the aliens got the a Jinjo doll, so yeah, that seems pretty cool and cute at the same time. Oh, and also, one more thing I would like to mention. I would like to thank you guys for able to actually give my channel support, because after all, we've recently reached for about 400 subscribers. So I'd like to thank you all for able to actually give a kind and support from the likes of the Banjo-Toie's YouTube channel. And sure enough, I appreciate about that, especially notable that how the fact that most of these other Let's Plays go pretty fine, although there might be some technical issues sometimes with all the capture card glitchiness involved. But apart from those side of things though, I thank you for able to actually just to support my channel for about almost 11 years, until specifically in 2022 that gosh, the actual the Banjo-Toie's YouTube channel will be fully become 11 years old until next year. I mean, good lord, time itself went flying. So hopefully our next goal will be 500. So God knows when though, God knows when, especially noticeable because, well, we barely just got even like, you know, 404 subscribers at the moment, which I'm quite pleased about. Especially noticeable about the fact that, well, relatively speaking, I'm very, very appreciative with all that, you know, kind and support and all that stuff. Especially noticeable if you do like my playthroughs of certain games, or most commonly is of course Mario Party, along with the forms of any other titles that you guys haven't heard of, then yeah, I appreciate about that. So, and of course, much like in the original Banjo-Kazooie game, we need to able to do a Beak Buster ground pound ability at that particular well, Gorbie right there, to able to spew out water, just like in the previous game. Although the only difference is this time it only happens once as opposed to twice, mainly for the forms of artifact that in the original game you have to do this like twice. One of them involves around the Jiggy in well, specifically by the forms of well, Gorbie's belly, and another one you can able to obtain from by getting yourselves an extra honeycomb piece to add up to your health. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. So anyway, so now we've actually filled up the water for the actual train itself, and that pretty much allows us to able to now actually access to the icy side for that train station. And it's a good thing we managed to explore in there in the first place, because I get the strong sense of feeling that we might able to actually get ourselves the final Jiggy in this world. And that will pretty much wraps it up for everything from the likes of Hailfire Peaks. So yeah, that seems all nicely done there. Oh, that's a fake one, so we'll just ignore him for now and just go straight forward. And sure enough, if you go in there, there's the final Jiggy in Hailfire Peaks. So, nicely done. So we actually got about 72 Jiggies. So let's have a look at the views total right now. So let's see. We got every Jiggies, we got every single extra honeycomb pieces, we got all the Cheeto pages, etc, all the notes, all the moves, all the Jinjos, and all that stuff. So yeah, we're basically done with this world. So although we still need to go back into this world for some revisits, to be more specifically in the Jolly Roger's Lagoon, in one of those missions anyway, so I guess that makes it totally obvious there. So yeah, I think we'll probably head back into Isle of Heeks from now on, because obviously we're basically done with Hailfire Peaks, so 100% completionist for everything. So yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy for the sake of like the progression so far, so... But yeah, that's as far as I can say about this discussion at this point, guys. Especially noticeable that, well, it seems kind of weird that usually in last year, that we somehow reached for about 300 subscribers back in the day, whilst now in 2021, that we've recently reached for about 400 subscribers now. So yeah, that seems very incredible. Although, it still wasn't nearly as high, but at least I can appreciate about the forms of thank you guys for able to keep on supporting the channel. So, anyway, so enough about that discussion for this point right now, because, well, let's go ahead and move on to the next world. In this one, it takes place in Wasteland, very much like in the 5th world, but instead of going the same way as before, we need to now head in here, because that's the way to the next world. So, anyways, I think suffice to say, we got the endings off at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Banjo-Tooie, and that is the fact that we'll explore the next world, known as Cloud Cluku Land. So, that should be an interesting world. So I'll see you guys on Friday. Later, fellas.